So what exactly is this ICICI Prudential Office Yield Optimizer Fund AIF2? And more importantly, is it a smart way to invest in real estate or just another complex product wrapped in fancy jargon? Let us break it down simply, clearly, and without the sales pitch in this video. So hi there, welcome back to holisticinvestment.in, where we help individual investors like you to make the right financial and investment decision to reach your financial goals in a more faster and smarter way. So before we analyze this AIF, let us first understand a few basic details about it. Like, what is it? At its core, this fund is designed to invest in mid-sized commercial office properties. Think A-grade office spaces leased to established companies. The fund aims to own commercial real estate through companies, collect rental income, and potentially benefit from capital appreciation over time. But here's the twist: it doesn't buy buildings directly in your name. Instead, it invests through special purpose vehicles, SPVs, that own these properties. And why does that matter? Because it adds a layer of structure, governance, and tax considerations, something direct property owners rarely think about. So the fund claims to follow a conservative real estate strategy. But is it truly conservative or just selectively aggressive? Here's what it aims to do: at least 70% of the portfolio in pre leased assets, meaning properties already generating rental income, and up to 30% in tactical opportunities, such as completed but vacant buildings or built to suit projects nearing completion. So the strategy is clear: focus on cash flowing assets with limited exposure to higher risk developments. Sounds sensible, right? But real estate is never that simple. So, how does the fund choose properties? The fund uses multiple filters before investing. Number one, location matters a lot. They target micro markets with strong infrastructure, business activity, long term demand drivers, because in real estate, location isn't just everything, it's the only thing. And number two, tenant quality. The fund prefers tenants that are financially strong, well established, and likely to stay long term. Why? Because a fancy building means nothing if the tenant can't pay rent. And number three, leasing demand. They want exposure to high growth office markets where leasing activity is strong. But here's a question: what happens if the office market shifts to remote work or hybrid models? That's a structural risk investors often underestimate. And number four, tenant retention. Long lock-in periods, high fit-out cost, and switching friction are key. In simple terms, the fund prefers tenants who can't easily pack up and leave. And number five, asset quality. High replacement cost and limited replication potential, meaning buildings that are hard and expensive to replicate, because scarcity can protect value, at least in theory. So, what does the fund avoid? The fund also lists that what it will not invest in, which is just as important. So, greenfield projects or under construction assets, weak or unproven tenants, high vacancy buildings, low demand micro markets, and properties with maintenance risk. This tells us something important. This is not a high risk development fund, it's more of a yield focused commercial real estate strategy. So, how the investment structure works? First of all, ownership structure. The fund holds 100% ownership of the SPVs that own the properties. This means investors indirectly own the real estate through the fund structure. Number two, leverage at SPV level. The SPVs can borrow up to 50% of the asset value. Leverage can amplify returns, but it can also magnify losses. So ask yourself, are you comfortable with debt-backed real estate exposure? And number three, diversification limits. No more than 25% exposure to a single tenant or investee company. So this helps reduce concentration risk, but it's still far from a diversified mutual fund. And number four, investment horizon. So the expected holding period is 3 to 5 years per asset, and the fund life is 6 years with extension options. So this is not a liquid investment. Once your money goes in, it's basically locked for years. So the key fund terms you must know is: minimum investment here is for 1 crore. The target corpus is 2000 crores plus 500 crores green shoe. So hurdle rate, which is 8% pre-tax post fees, and the fund tenure is 6 years plus 1 extension, and the investment manager commitment is up to 15% of total commitments. So the 8% hurdle rate means the fund manager earns performance fees only after delivering 8% returns. But remember, hurdle rate is not a guaranteed return. So who is this fund actually for? Is this for the average investor? Probably not. This fund is designed for high net worth individuals, family offices, institutional investors, investors with long term illiquid capital. So, if you need liquidity, flexibility, or transparency, this is not your product. So, what are the risk investors often ignore? So, before you get impressed by the glossy brochure, consider these risks. Number one, commercial real estate cycles. Office demand can crash during economic slowdowns. Remember COVID? Office vacancies skyrocketed. And number two, tenant concentration risk. Even with caps, large tenants still matter. If a key tenant leaves, rental income drops like instantly. And number three, leverage risk. Debt amplifies returns but also amplifies losses. So, in a downturn, leverage can destroy equity. And number four, liquidity risk. You can't exit like a mutual fund. Secondary markets for AIF units are limited. And number five, valuation risk. Commercial real estate valuations are often subjective and appraisal driven. So, in bad markets, prices can fall sharply without warning. And now let's talk about something many investors gloss over, fees. Because in alternative investments, fees quietly decide your real returns. The ICICI Prudential Office Yield Optimizer Fund AIF2 offers two fee structures. And yes, your choice here can materially impact your final returns. Option 1, fixed fee structure. In this model, you pay a fixed annual arrangement fee on your committed capital. So, no matter what happens, markets crash, you still pay. Returns disappoint, you still pay. And zero performance, you still pay. For example, 1 crore to 2 crore investors pay around 2% annually, and large investors get slightly lower fees. So, this option gives cost certainty, but it doesn't reward you for good performance and doesn't penalize the fund manager for poor performance. So, ask yourself, should a manager get paid the same whether they outperform or underperform? So, option number two, hybrid fee structure, which is performance linked. So, the hybrid model is more interesting. It combines a lower fixed management fee and a performance fee of 10% charged only if returns exceed the 8% hurdle rate. So, in simple terms, the manager earns extra only if you make more than 8% returns. No returns above 8%, no performance fee. Sounds aligned, right? But remember, fees still compound over time, especially in long horizon investments like AIFs. Now let's get to the uncomfortable part, risk, because brochures highlight features but risk decides outcomes. So, number one, vacancy risk. Even with long term leases, tenants can leave, business restructuring, financial stress, or relocation, and suddenly rental income drops. And in commercial real estate, vacancy can be expensive and prolonged. And number two, concentration risk. Unlike mutual funds with hundreds of stocks, this fund may hold a limited number of properties and tenants. Even with diversification across cities and tenants, a few large assets can dominate returns. So, one bad asset can move the needle significantly. Number three, liquidity risk. This is not a liquid investment. There is no easy secondary market. Exits depend on buyers, market conditions, and fund timelines. So once you invest, you're married to the fund for years. And number four, interest rate risk. Higher interest rates reduce property valuations. And remember, these SPVs can use leverage. So rising rates can hurt both property prices and leveraged equity returns. So double impact. And number five, capital risk. Debt gets repaid before equity investors. So, if property values fall, equity investors take the hit first. Your capital is not guaranteed because this is not fixed income despite the rental narrative. So, taxation for category 2 AIFs can be complex and it varies by income type. So, if this is like real estate AIF taxation, right? So, the holding period, suppose if it exceeds less than 36 months, then it is taxed as short term capital gains at slab rates. And if the holding period is more than 36 months, then 20% tax with indexation benefits. But here's the catch. Depending on the structure, some income may be classified as business income or interest taxed at slab rates. So your post-tax return can look very different from headline returns. And why this AIF can be an alternative to physical real estate? Let's be honest. Owning physical property is not passive. Paperwork, tenants, maintenance, disputes, exit, headaches. Is this really the best use of your time and capital? With a real estate AIF, Asset allocation is handled professionally. Leasing and compliance are managed. Cash flows are monitored institutionally. Exit is structured and planned. So you participate in real estate without becoming a landlord. So unlike buying a house, an AIF is a financial asset, not an emotional purchase. So it fits into portfolio allocation, diversification, and strategy, not nostalgia, pride, or family pressure. So as families globalize, managing Indian property becomes harder. NRIs and HNIs often struggle with on-ground management. For them, real estate AIFs provide exposure without geography headaches. So, what is the final verdict? Should you invest? The ICICI Prudential Office Yield Optimizer Fund AIF2 gives access to something most investors can't buy: institutional grade pre leased office real estate with global tenants, grade A IT parks, multinational tenants, structured leases with rental escalation, lower vacancy risk compared to retail or residential property. So, this creates predictable rental visibility and potential capital appreciation. But let's be clear, minimum investment is 1 crore. So, money is locked for 6 to 8 years, taxation is complex, liquidity is limited, returns are not guaranteed, so this is not for everyone. So do you want to deal with tenants, paperwork, vacancies, and exit timing, or would you rather let professionals manage real estate while you focus on your core investments? For HNIs, NRIs, and sophisticated investors, real estate AIFs can be a powerful portfolio diversifier when used thoughtfully. But for most retail investors, REITs, equity funds, or diversified portfolios may offer better liquidity, simplicity, and transparency. And if you like this deep dive into real estate AIFs, hit the like button, subscribe for more investment analysis, and share this with someone considering alternative investments. And remember, always consult with a qualified certified financial planner before investing in complex AIF structures, because suitability matters more than returns. If you want to read more about this policy, then you can definitely check out the blog post we have posted on our website through the link in the description. And if you want to gain more professional guidance through a professional financial planner, you can choose to book a one-on-one complimentary consultation with one of our professional financial planner through the link in the description. Also, if you want to gain more investment and financial insights through the leading experts in the finance industry, we also conduct regularly free live webinars through which you can register and gain these insights. The link is in the description. Also, if you like this video, definitely hit like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can come up with more such financially beneficial content for you. Thank you for watching.